Hello, you're welcome. Welcome to part 2 of Onitsha and the urgency of the matter. You heard about the part 1. I do believe that you have tagged the governors, you have tagged the governor of Anambra State and the local government, the Obi of Onitsha, the Obi of Igwe of Obosi, and other people that are in the Onitsha Metro. You know, when we are talking about Onitsha Metro, we are talking about the almost 7 local governments involved, because Onitsha is a metropolitan city that is almost 8 million or 10 million people. But, you know, Nigerian census is talking about, less than that. But because Nigeria doesn't do census, so we cannot rely on that. But if you look at the structure of the buildings and the habitation, the population density in that place, you can agree with me that Onitsha is over 10 million. That's what we are talking about, and I do believe that you will agree with what we are going to say. In this part 2, the urgency of the matter, I am still Kodili-nye, the son of Wonderful, and we are here again to continue our discussion. And in this part 2, we are going to talk about what the government of Anambra State, the Chukwuma Soludo, must do, must rally around the government institutions to start to do immediately in Onitsha. There must be a 6-month plan, there must be 1-year plan, there must be 1.5-year plan, there must be 2 years plan, there must be within 4 years, this must be accomplished. Now I'm going to talk about 6 months plan. What Governor Chukwuma Soludo must do in Onitsha immediately is to galvanize the whole Onitsha Metro. I mean Onitsha North, Onitsha South, Idemili area of Onitsha, Oyi, and Obaru. So you need to galvanize the whole place by launching a massive policy on environmental cleanliness, environmental beautification, environmental tidying up. This will include the planting of trees, that each compound must have not less than 4 or 5 trees in it, and planting trees in open areas, opening up greeneries and tidying up the whole place. There must be a policy on this that make it absolutely a punishable offense to dump the bins in the anyhow. Now the government must also start to undertake by the way of making sure that the door-to-door collection of rubbish refuse bin is implemented without delay. So every week, that 2 times a week, that the bins from the household must be taken away. It should not be left, it should not be left again. And this environmental thing, there must be a policy on implementing sanitary inspectors that will be moving into house to house. Hundreds of sanitary inspectors must actually be recruited, and from the fines that will be issued to many houses on cleanliness, on their lack of cleanliness, will be used to fund all these things. And the streets must be cleared of sand duns. Most of the roads must be cleared of the sand duns. There should not be a drop of sand on the roads at all anymore. And there must be a consistent effort to close up most of the drainages. What I mean closing up most of the drainages is basically what they need to do is basically to look at a way of getting some of these drainages, underground drainages built under the existing drainages, and do the surface one on top of it. But this must be closed. So this must be done in a way that will basically change things. This will bring about total turnaround in the whole place. So there must be a consistent effort to basically make a policy on color coding, repainting of the existing houses in the major roads. This is part of the 6 months plan to get Onitsha working again. There must be a consistency of making sure that the rundown buildings are refurbished, and issues, fines given out, that within 6 months, 1 year, if your house, if it's dilapidated, if it's not rehabilitated, that the government will either take it over or you'll be forced to sell the house. So these are things that the government must be a radical departure from what we are seeing at this moment. And what I'm actually saying is also this involves reawakening the lazy administrators in the local councils. Those lazy workers must now be made to know what they're supposed to be doing. You know, they should look at what happened in Kigali, how the whole places are. Basically, Kigali in Rwanda, how the whole places was basically beautified, that you can actually eat under the drainage. The drainage is so clean. And in this 6 months plan, the provision of water to house must be also involved in this, so that this water will be helped to tidy up the street, tidy up households. Because why Onitsha is so dirty is because of lack of water. Because the government has actually failed. They must admit that. If they don't, I help them to admit that they have failed to provide water. Because they have failed to provide water, this actually created this dirty environment syndrome that has continued in our homeland. So that's why I'm saying that this 6 months and 1 year plan must involve them getting these things. Remember let us recap what we have just said. That the governor of Anambra State and the chief executive of Anambra State will mobilize all government parastatals, both the local council, the mayors in the local councils, the PGs of the towns involved in Onitsha, metropolitan areas, the towns, the Igwes, the Obis, the market leaders, the estate chairmans, the layout chairmans, and everybody must be mobilized within 6 months to get the whole place tidied up. The environment must be tidied up. There must be a consistent effort to plant trees. There must be creation of recreation parks, greenery areas. There should not be any place left to be without grassing. So any other place near the roads cannot be left untouched. So some of the untarred roads that is joining the roads, the major roads, like the roads that are tarred, let's for instance, you have Uguta Road, they are joining roads to Uguta Road. If they are not tarred, around 50 feet to Uguta Road, on tarred road, they'll start on tarred road, 50 feet that will join the tarred road must be cemented. So to avoid sand, accumulating on the already tarred roads. So this will be policy formulation. Let me repeat again, that if you have a tarred road, a major road, let me give an example, Opi-Iweka. Any road around Opi-Iweka that is joining the Opi-Iweka that is not tarred, 50 feet, inside of it, from it joining the Opi-Iweka must be cemented. So this will stop the accumulation of sand dunes on the existing roads. And the roads, the existing roads should be made to be without any sand. This means that the government must partner with innocent or potential investors to buy or to procure a lot of truck that will actually sweep the sand out of our roads. This will be done twice a week in the first instance. So in 6 months, all the roads must be spot clean. And another thing they need to do is that there must be supervisors that will be in charge of some roads. So maybe one supervisor might be given 10 roads to be supervising. So anytime any fault is found in this road, the supervisor is sacked. So now many people will be recruited to clean and tidy up all these things. That's what the Soludo will be doing. In 6 months, the whole place will be turned on its head. The environment will be completely changed and the environment will become attractive. And what am I saying? There will be so much opportunities because thousands of people will be employed. And some people will say, where will you find the money for this? This will not cost money because already people are paying for environmental services, but the delivery is not being done. And there is no checks and balance on all those things. So now the government will now do the work of the government to do their own part in making our environment to be habitable for once and for all. So there must be open spaces. In build-up areas, the government will also be looking at acquiring some areas, some houses that can be turned into green area, a park, making it mini parks and major parks. These will be places that you plan, you will turn into wooded land, forest in the middle of the city. So this is a 6 months to 1 year plan. This is what we are discussing in this part 2 of this series. That this will involve environmental issue. If we can do these things, if Soludo can actually mobilize the people, I believe you 6 months down the line, you will see Onitsha turning around for good. So you saw the little Oti is doing in Aba. You see how Aba has been turned. The same thing we were looking forward to Soludo to do, but at the moment, now nothing is being seen on the essence of environment. So that's what we are talking about. If Soludo can do these things, I bet you there are a lot of things that will come. In part 3, watch out for part 3, because we are going to discuss more on part 3, and I do believe that you will support us as we discuss the part 3. This is a very, very important discussion. So you need to help us. We don't ask you to give us money. What we ask you is to tag Governor Chukwuma Soludo, the Anambra State government, and if you do have environmental commissioner, the local government chairman, the PGs of the different towns involved in Onitsha Metro, the PGs of Ogidi or Bosi, PGs of other areas, Nkwele, Ezunaka, all those areas, tag them, and they will see that we can have something bigger than Lagos in the east. We have the people. The only thing we don't have at the moment is leadership, including the governor. We need the leadership. The governor must show leadership. If he doesn't show leadership, the people will be like a sheep without a shepherd. That is part 2. I am still Kodili-nye, the son of wonderful. See you in the next one, and have a wonderful time wherever you are. God bless you.